We got it.
All right. For those of you that were watching YouTube, you missed the whole introduction because I forgot to click a very important button. So I apologize. But we are here. We are live. And we are going to start taking rounds of check-ins to see who's out there. Do we have any stations that are new or never checked in with the Antinet before, or any new operators, or maybe anybody that has just recently upgraded their license class?
Kilo Juliet 7, November Whiskey Kilo. Nick, this is my first time on the net, and I'm on Echolink coming out of Salem, Oregon.
All right. I think I got your call sign. It was KJ7. Was it NJK out of Salem?
Sorry, no, it's Kilo Juliet 7, November Whiskey Kilo. Whiskey.
Okay, got it. KJ7NWK. How are you doing tonight? Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it. Salem, Oregon. I've been there many, many times. And you're not too far from me. A lot of us are, well, actually in the Zoom chat tonight, there's people from all over the place represented. But I'm currently in Everett, Washington, running the stream. And we've got people from all over the country. And we appreciate you checking in. How's your night going?
Yeah, it's been a good night, good weather. Was able to check into a couple of local HF nets before I went out and mowed the yard, so it's a good time, right?
You're almost kind of sound like me. Sometimes I got to like jump out in the shack and squeeze a couple of contacts in on HF and then jump back out, and I'm in the middle of doing something with the kids or whatever. It's always trying to find time to do it. But I don't envy mowing the yard. I hate yard work. So if you like it, more power to you. Back to you.
It's one of life's necessary evils. So I live near my mom. I take care of her yard. I take care of my yard. But like I said, I hunted a little and did my 6 p.m. HF nets and then popped outside. So, and then got the notification this was on and thought I was finally going to get to check in. So here I am. Anyways, this is Kilo Juliet 7, November Whiskey Kilo, and I'll return it to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you checking in. I do have a question. So I haven't actually been playing on HF in the last few days, and I know there was some electromagnetic storms that kind of passed through the Earth's atmosphere. Have you had any issues with contacts, or have you noticed a change, or have the bands seemed to stabilize?
It's been a little bit iffy here and there, but I went out Sunday morning at daybreak and activated a park on POTA Sunday morning in 10 minutes on 17 meters. So not terrible, but it fades a little bit here and there.
Well, that's awesome. Good to hear you're out there and active. I appreciate you checking in with us tonight, and come back. We love to hear from new people, and we like to turn them into family. So we appreciate you coming in tonight. I'll say 7-3 to you, and let's see who else we got out there. Any other stations want to check in to the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net? Come on in now.
This is K6DRX, Kilo 6 Delta Romeo X-Ray. My name is John, and I'm a new ham operator, new to this net, and coming in via Zello from Novato, California.
Well, hello, John. Thanks for checking in with us. We've got K6DRX. How long ago did you get your license? You said that you were a relatively new ham.
I tested in about 5 months ago. It was last December, just newly into a technician class.
Right on.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. It's good to have you in the hobby, and I hope you you find something that fits your knack. I know that when I first got my license, I quickly became just absorbed with people around me and all these different like avenues that I could explore with ham radio, and it's tough to sort them all out. I mean, you got digital and HF and you know, checking into nets on repeaters and finding all kinds of different nets that are running all around, and simplex, and you know, working satellites. There's so many things that you can do. I hope you find what you're super excited about, and I'm glad that you checked in with us tonight. What's your favorite thing that you've done so far since you got your ticket? Yeah, it was a K6DRX, Greg.
Well, so the first thing I did was pick up an inexpensive handheld Bofang, and have just been checking into some of the local nets on 2 meter with that. I have a neighbor and a friend who kind of was my tipping point and nudged me into the hobby, and planning to coordinate with him and play around with some of his equipment to see what else interests me in terms of upgrades and other things. Another thing that's going on locally in my area is there's a group that's working on putting together an emergency wireless internet infrastructure using consumer-grade routers with custom firmware to run essentially run point-to-point mid to long-range Wi-Fi over ham frequencies, which is pretty interesting. And since I've got a background in IT, that's right up my alley as well.
That sounds a lot like the Arden Mesh Network, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong on that when you come back. But yeah, I mean, you kind of started the way a lot of us did, is you know, just grab an affordable radio, get on the air, start making some contacts, and then pretty soon you've got you know, a room completely dedicated to ham radio, and then the next thing you know, you're, you know, getting rid of some stuff to pay for the next thing, and it just kind of snowballs from there. But you know, I remember we got a friend here, Greg, tonight, and you know, I remember he just started out, and then the next thing you know, he's like running repeaters out of his house. So it's crazy the things that you get involved in. But I'll give it back to you for one more final, John, and we'll move on. I appreciate you checking in with us. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, you're probably correct. It definitely is a mesh technology that they're looking at. Don't know if it's exactly the same as the project you're describing, but I would guess it's similar. And so yeah, I'm going to keep on keeping on with that, and I'm going to try to not let the urge to buy more gear become a problem for me, but definitely keeping my eyes open. And so thanks again for the warm welcome, and back to that K6DRX.
Famous last words, AK6Y.
Did you have something to say, Eric?
No, it's just I think we all say that when we get into the hobby, and then the bug grabs us, and we end up.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? All right. Thanks a lot, John. KN6DAL here with the 2 meter crew anti-net. We're looking for stations anywhere. Any check-ins are welcome. Come on in now.
Those are some very famous last words, Eric.
I guess I'll check in. This is some newbie, WG5EK out of Town. So, what is this anti-net that I'm hearing? No, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, it's been a while. I know I'm up late. Normal bedtime is way earlier than this, but you know, I've had a long day and I just wanted to relax and hang out with buds. At least audio, no video, but good to hear you, Nick, and good to hear the new check-ins and new people to the net. Welcome to the hobby. Welcome to the anti-net. And yeah, just enjoying the nice weather and looking forward to the rest of the week. I'm going to turn it back over to Nick and the G5EEK.
Mike, it's always good to hear from you, man. Thanks for checking in with us. Those that don't know Mike, he's been essential, absolutely essential in helping so many people get different things set up with parts of this hobby. So we love you, man. We appreciate you checking in. And don't feel too bad or like you're up too late, because there's some people in the chat. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but Andy Cowley's in the chat right now, and I think he's like in the UK or something. So he has no business being up at this time of day. But you're living your life. Enjoy. We appreciate you checking in. Let's see. We've got quite a few people here in the chat. I'm going to go through a couple people in Zoom, and we'll go back to seeing who else is out there. But I want to hear from Greg, because he's like, you got to catch him while he's still here. And he made it tonight all the way from the other side of the United States. We got W5GSW with a fresh, brand new call sign. Greg, take it away, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Nick. WG5. No, it's W5 GSW. See, I don't even know that call. I don't even know my call yet. I'm so used to KN6KIE that it doesn't flow yet. But in terms of my my radio life, it's been a little slow out here, just getting used to Apex. But I have done a couple things. I've built a little GMRS repeater that I've got up, but that is not got any traffic on it whatsoever, but it's still fun to do. The only traffic is me like testing from picking up my kids and taking them to school and stuff. I've been doing a little more DMR, actually trying to dig into making sure I could do. I have like a dual hat. I built a dual hat, little pipe star a while ago. I think I put it up on the 2MC, but trying to make sure that my radios can do TGIF and Brandmeister at the same time. It's been a little bit to wrap my head around getting it all working on different radios and stuff, and that's been kind of fun. I think half the fun is just building these things rather than talking on them, but that's pretty cool. And antenna building, trying to get that GMRS antenna up, trying to get it going and working. And what I've been doing, I haven't spent nearly as much time as I should on HF, but it's coming. Anyways, thanks for calling me out there, Nick. This is W5GSW. Back to net control.
All right. Thanks, Greg, for checking in. Always good to have you, buddy. KN6DAL here with the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net. We've also got, let's pick on Eric. Eric, how are you doing tonight? We've got AK6Y. Over to you.
I'm doing well. Basically, nothing really going on, but a lot going on. I shared before we started this thing that it's been 24 years that I've been in my profession. So 24 years ago today, I walked into Alameda County. I won't say the exact job because I want to keep that a little quiet, but and started the job, and it's been a good career so far. I've got another couple years before I retire. And let me say AK6Y just to make it right, because we're on the airways. And yeah, that's about it. Other than that, just kind of living life.
All right, cool, man. Thanks for checking in with us. Let's take another call out and see who we got out on the air tonight. We've got any stations that want to check into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net. Come on in now.
Hey, we got Whiskey 5 gunshot wound here in the chat.
Yeah, it's such a cliche. I got to come up with a good call, but one that's not offensive.
That.
Not one that's not offensive to you.
Why not use that on the air? Just go. Why not just on the air go Whiskey 5 gunshot wound? People
All
are
right.
I mean, that's
really
cool,
fresh
but
out.
We're dead space. I'm going to key up here. All right, KN6DAL here. We got a couple more people in the chat. We got Bert. Bert, you made it home early tonight. How's your day been?
Made it home. Made it home. N6 EFR. It's been good. Trying to get really air conditioning in the car was sucking. There's none in there. So like my vents like stuck on defrost, and so wasn't even sure if the AC was on today when I was coming home. But trying to get CW, learning that again. Trying to get that while in the commute and everything. I'm up to K, M, S, and U. I was trying to do like F and L for a while. That was like 2 days of trying to hear that, and just like,
Da-da,
yeah, exactly. But I mean,
da-da.
other than that, it was good. Da 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 da.
Well, I know Dada is M. Da-da-da is S.
Yep.
I gotta say though, Bert, on the air, dude, your ghost looking impressive, bro. It's been a while since I've
Dude,
seen you
it's
last,
getting
dude.
long.
It is getting long.
All right, thanks for checking in with us, Bert. KN6DAL here with the 2-meter crew anti-net. Looking for any check-ins, any stations anywhere that want to check in, come on in now.
Bert, what's Q?
Oh, Frank was the first person to talk in Zoom, so I'm calling on him. KN6DAL to KG6NLW. How are you doing tonight, Frank?
KG6NLW. Good evening to the anti-net and everyone listening. I'm coming to you live from Bakersfield this evening. Nothing much to talk about. Just working on a few projects here and there that are somewhat quasi radio related. Trying to figure out what some of these high gain antennas are that I have. I got them with the tower I got back in 2017, and I never been able to really put them together to figure out what they are. Other than that, nothing much. KN6DAL on the anti-net, KG6NLW.
All right. Thanks, Frank, for checking in with us tonight. KN6DAL here. Let's see. We've got a couple more people in the chat, but we'll take one more round and see who we got out there on the air. Any other check-ins want to come in? Come on in now. All right. Let's see. We've got Dave, K6WBY. How you doing tonight?
Nick, KN6DAL. This is Dave, K6WBY. Doing really good. You know, we haven't talked about the shack in a couple of weeks, and I've been kind of on hold, waiting on some liquid tight flex conduit that was supposed to get delivered today and apparently didn't show up. However, it shows is delivered. So been kind of assembling some parts and getting things together, but making some good progress there. And then getting a lot of chores done around here. Got 2 loads of bees yesterday and set up a couple of new beehives in the backyard, and got my garden planted tonight. So getting a lot of projects out of the way and things, but not much in the way of ham radio while I continue to wait on Amazon.
That's cool.
Always waiting on Amazon. W5GSW.
All right, Dave, thanks for checking in. We also got Connor. Connor showed up tonight. K7 CBL. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it would help if I was unmuted. Yeah, K7CBL for ID. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I had an interesting one I guess I could share with the net today. And I did my research, so I can publicly talk about this. I don't know. Do you want to let it drop real quick, Nick? Because this might be a 2-minute thing.
You're good. I got it.
Okay. So I was sitting here this morning, waking up, and I do 900 megahertz on the ham side, and I'm scanning a few of my local repeaters, and I'm hearing a phone conversation on 927 megahertz. It turns out someone within, I'd say, a 3 to 4 house radius still has an old school analog 900 megahertz handset.
Careful, son.
Yep, and it's completely legal in California because it's dictated by the operation of the transceiver. Apparently, if that was a spread spectrum transceiver and I heard the conversation, it's considered wiretapping, but the fact that it's sitting on one frequency and it's in the open, it's not considered wiretapping. So that was definitely an interesting one. I don't know if I'll ever hear that again, but it was definitely a really cool one to kind of hear. I mean, I wouldn't say cool, but it definitely was something that you wouldn't hear every day, especially overlapping into the ham bands like that. And it's one of my local neighbors because it's probably a 200 milliwatt transmitter. So that's really all I've got for cool radio news. I don't know if anybody would find that cool, but I certainly did. K7CBL Friday. Back to you, Nick.
All right. KN6DAL from K7CBL. You know, you got to tell us, what was the conversation you heard about?
Oh.
The conversation. So I only heard part of it, but I heard a very specific phrase, which was somebody scheduling a sad because they think there's privacy on their phone, but it was actually somebody scheduling a doctor's appointment for at the dermatology, and it's at the dermatology department. It's the same doctor or healthcare provider I have. So when they were talking certain terms such as the online programs and stuff like that, that's when I kind of picked up on what it was. So kind of sad that somebody expected privacy from their phone. You know, little do they know. But that's also why you kind of should upgrade with the time. You know, move forward with the upgrades as time goes, because it just gets more secure, more secure, more secure. And all the newer phones that still operate, I wouldn't say newer, I'd say within the past probably 10 years or so, use frequency hopping spread spectrum, which changes frequencies multiple times a second, and the handset and the base talk to each other, doing handshakes of saying what frequency they're moving to. And that's extremely secure, but the old phones just sat on 1 to 2 frequencies, and they dictated what frequency would be used based on the signal to noise ratio that it was hearing. So sad that somebody's still using that old of technology and expects privacy. K7CBL.
If I could comment real quick, AK6Y. I said careful, son, because that was my college years when we had those kind of phones. And yeah, back then the scanners would pick it up. Not saying that I was listening, but
see, we weren't going to date you, but you just dated yourself.
Oh, I don't mind dating myself.
Distinguished, man. Distinguished, Eric.
But it was funny. It was just like, oh, it's like, careful, son.
I thought you were talking about the laws on it, because I actually did full research, because I figured if I were to hop on here, I would share that one. And yeah, it's not dictated by the mode of transmission. It's dictated by the operation of the transceiver, which is really interesting, because if somebody were to try to fight that in court, that's definitely a difficult one to fight, because it's on a model by model basis, essentially, because everybody does their mode of transmission or operation of the transmitter completely different, because patents and stuff like that. So
yeah,
definitely an interesting one, and I'm sure that's why there wasn't a whole lot of wiretapping cases back in the day.
I like how you're covering your ass already. K7.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it definitely was something that I looked up, because I was like, man, if I record this, is that considered illegal? You know, but it's not.
I'm curious if you talked. If that
I did.
If that person would hear you.
At the right before the end of their phone call, I keyed up and went 1, 2, 3, and they didn't acknowledge it. So obviously it was duplexed in some way, but I heard both ends of the call. I heard the older lady on the phone, and then I heard the younger lady that was at the call center. So I heard both ends of the conversation. So I thought it was duplexed, and it might have been off frequency, but I definitely transmitted at 35 watts just to see if I would have somebody go, sorry, what was that? There was some weird noise or something, and see if they could have heard me. But maybe they're using a PL tone or something, but I was just monitoring in carrier squelch.
Well, hopefully at some point, if you continue to listen and you gather this person's information, like an address or anything, you could let them know before they continue like paying bills over the phone or something.
Yeah, the interesting part about it is that's what I was trying to do is I was actually gonna find where hear the person's address and let them know that that was happening and explain the whole thing, even though I totally sound like a wacko walking up to their front door and be like, "Hey, were you just on the phone with X Medical?" And they would have went, "Yeah," and I would have had to explain myself. But no, if I definitely hear it more often, I'm definitely gonna try to gather the info to give them a heads up. Hey, maybe it's time to
I
upgrade the phone.
can I give you a little better way to do that?
Yeah, go for it.
Instead of mentioning that you were listening to their conversation, you might just want to say, "Hey, can you go get your cordless phone for me and let me show you something?" And then turn the cordless phone on and have your radio there, your receiver there, and just say, "Just want to let you know, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5," and have the receiver kind of close to them, and they'll be like, "Oh."
Yeah, well,
So
the nice thing is I don't have to do too much. I was gonna actually turn on the spectrum analyzer and get the antenna out and kind of pinpoint it, but nice thing is it's within a 3-house radius of me because it's a 200 milliwatt transmitter. So obviously at some point I'll find out who it is.
So you know what? That reminds me, man. This is W5GSW. I just bought a frequency counter, like a little cheapo $50 gig over on Amazon, and that thing. I mean, if you got to be rather close for it to like start picking up frequencies and stuff like that. But it's kind of interesting walking around with that thing and seeing what you could pick up with all the devices that are hanging out close to your house, right?
You're gonna find better results. This is my ongoing joke with a few friends. On air won't see this, but this is a stick of attenuators for my spectrum analyzer with an antenna on the end. It's just how I store them. Those things work best if you grab like so 5 watts is about 30-ish dB. If you grab like a 30 dB or even a 60 dB attenuator, and I'm taking them apart so you can see what they look like by themselves. Grab one of these things and throw it on the top and do direct connect into your frequency counter, and you can get, depending on how accurate the frequency counter is, you can actually tune. Not any ham radios that I know of have this. Well, they have transmit RIT and stuff like that. But you could actually technically, if it's a good frequency counter, tune and align radios based off of that on their transmit to make sure that they're transmitting on frequency, which is something that like HF radios have that feature for sideband. I think a lot of them now have it. Even some older ones have it. My TS2000 and 7300 have it, where it might be a few hundred hertz off frequency if it's a really old radio and you got to tune it. That was an issue I was running into, and Kellen brought it to my attention at CAN6 ETB, and I went ahead and threw it on my spectrum analyzer, and sure enough found it was way off frequency, and that's why sideband never worked that well. And now that I do it, I can do sideband no problem, since we have some local people on UHF sideband here. So yeah, if you have one of those, Greg, the attenuators are super cheap. You can even get the SMA ones. That's what these ones are. These are all SMA attenuators. You can get them for super cheap, and you can have a really accurate frequency counter, because doing it over the air, there is losses and stuff like that. But if you just if you're trying to find a frequency of a commercial, I don't mind saying this on the air, but like my high school, I couldn't find who it was, and I got one of those frequency counters, and one of the administrators, again won't be named because he let me do it, keyed up his radio next to it, and I was able to find the frequency and have that in my good old Baofeng when I was carrying that at school, just in case stuff hit the fan. And yeah, so
those things are super. They make trying to figure that stuff out like that.
I've got one right here. It's got little.
I got the same one pretty much, dude. Just a different color.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Dude. Yeah.
Analog and digital too, which is sweet about this one. These are definitely worth it, and they're only I don't know how much you paid, but you can get them for dirt cheap.
How much did you pay? I paid $1 cheaper than you.
I don't even remember. It was that long ago. It was below $50, I think.
I just got one for like $50 shipped in 2 days on Amazon, dude.
Yeah.
All
There's
right,
a lot
let's
of good
take
ones out there.
let's take one more round and see if there's anybody else that wants to check in. For those that didn't catch it, we do have a Zoom link in the chat on YouTube at Northwest Ham Shack. For anybody that's interested in jumping on the Zoom chat, you're welcome to do so. Let's see if there's anybody else out there that wants to check in. Anybody looking to check into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net, you can come on in now.
Yeah,
Number 6, Echo Tango Romeo.
Dan, I hear you, but I don't see you in chat. Where did you go?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, this is Dan in Vacaville. Sorry, I had a personal project. I was running late, and well, I've been working on some side business stuff, and so I took the night off to spend time with the dog after wrapping up that project. But yeah, you guys look great on YouTube, and I'm enjoying what I'm catching up on. Let's see. I'll be hanging a G5 RV this weekend. Once my flagpole comes in from Amazon, I put my property on AutoCAD, and so I can.
Lost you.
Sorry, this thing drops on me. I put my property on AutoCAD so I could figure out how to hang this G5 RV, and I'll be doing that this weekend. And picking up some road tower parts in 6 ETR.
Yeah, I heard about that tower. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to an update when you get that all squared away. And next time you're on, I'd love to see kind of what you came up with how you're going to hang the antenna too. So cool, man. Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next week. Who else we got out there? Any other stations want to check into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net? We're going to be wrapping it up here in a minute, but we'll be hanging out on the Zoom chat for anybody that's interested. So we'll take one more call out, see if there's anyone that wants to check in before we shut it down. Cricket. All right, nothing being heard. I want to thank everybody for checking in tonight, and we appreciate all of you who were able to make it out. One more recommendation on jumping into the Zoom. If you have a chance, we'd love to hear from you. We'll be hanging out here for the next half hour or so. But now is the time to turn all the repeaters and all the digital connections back to normal use. Thank you, and we will see you next week. 7-3.
I'm gonna have to jump out of here too, Nick. I was actually, yeah, so for I'd say Greg and Bert and Nick and Frank, everybody who's been here the longest, everybody's known this setup as like this is my background, this is my setup, my QRZ has my setup on it.
And it's your bedroom too, let's not lie.
Yeah, that too. This will be no longer actually after this weekend. My new desk, you'll actually see my door, which does exist. I'm
unless you get in trouble and your parents take it off.
There you go. No,
I wouldn't put it past Connor at his parents, man. I met his dad before. I've been to Connor's place actually. I stood right out in front of his house.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this will be no longer, and I'm working on a whole new setup. I'll have 4 monitors instead, and server rack space in the room here to put my PC actually on a rack instead of just having the case kind of tilted up against the wall under my desk like it is now. So yeah, there's gonna be a whole revamp. I don't know if I'll be on the net because I'm waiting on some Amazon orders still to show up, but whole new
waiting on Amazon.
Well, I wouldn't say waiting on Amazon. I made sure everything I bought was Prime that had Prime shipping, even if it was like $1 more, because I don't want to. I'm ordering this. Everything's moving very, very fast on this, because I've got this weekend I'm home, next weekend I'm not, and then the weekend after that, I have some stuff planned. So, yeah, I'm moving really quick on this, but. Yeah, the days of my good old setup will be gone, and hopefully a new mic.
What's up, bro? Are you getting a new apartment or something? Are you pouring the coop?
No, I'm still here for a bit longer. I'm figuring stuff out, but I'm getting a bigger bed, and I'm moving. I need more desk space. Like right now, for well, only people on the stream can see anyways. So hold on a second. We'll just do this. Like right now, this is just my stool next to me. Those are all radios.
Oh, send me one of those. Send me one of those Motorola's, man.
Those are all. Do I even have my? Oh yeah, mine is actually.
Hello, Mario.
Oh Jesus, yeah. There's my soundboard for you. No, those are all these.
Whoa.
Oh, and my camera.
Hello,
just died.
Mario.
That was weird.
They're all. They're
Well,
all
it's like
700.
Are those old ones? Or are those new ones? You're programming new ones?
These are these are the current production single band radios. So I got those. I've got my my camera's all wonky. I've got my Harris radios sitting here. I've got everything. So I don't have any space on my desk, and like I can't.
You should give one of those away on the Antinet day.
Those are actually not mine. So
I'm
the
just
ones that are
playing,
sitting
dude.
here are not mine.
I know you've got a career in RF, dude. And actually, that's super cool, man. That's super cool, dude.
This one's mine. This is my this is mine, but these are not like old stock. They're all brand new. Manufacture date was last year. So I'm working on a work project for that, but yeah, no more with this. This backdrop is the last time on the Antinet. I'll have it most likely. So
cool. I hope it looks more like an adult's background, dude.
Hey, this looks pretty cool though. You gotta say.
It looks like a high school kid.
Oh, shut up. I'm still gonna have the flags. I'm actually gonna have a couple more.
Actually, I'm totally cool with it, Connor. I'm actually, I do like the fact that that this thing has like a young fucking cat in it, like a young dude, man.
Yeah.
Because there's enough of us old motherfuckers in this thing to justify like having a young
We're
guy.
off the air. We're
You're
off
pretty
the air.
average.
We're off the
doing the
air.
average for us, dude.
Oh,
We all appreciate it.
Your radio rack still looks like a Thomas.
I need a beep button for Greg.
I know. We
I
need an
need-
actual
No.
beeper for
Beep.
Greg to
Come
shut
on, you've
Greg
known
up.
this for a
Just
year,
shut
dude.
Greg.
You've known this for a year, Nick. Come on,
Yeah,
brother.
you did it once, I heard, but
Oh no.
that's okay.
And Nick, okay. So I think this was before. I think the only person in here was Bert. But it was me. It was Greg. Oh man, Greg. One of those times, man. You got on the radio on the Antinet, man, and you were ripping it for like an hour straight.
Nick needs a big button that says mute Greg. Just one of these
Shut up, Greg.
pounders
Shut up,
that
Greg.
just goes pow. Shut that dude down.
Hey Nick, we could hook you up with the beeper. Not a pager, an actual beeper, like a
A
bleep
pager.
button. Not a like a. I don't even know what I have a beeper somewhere, but yeah, I'm up to.
You know how many people probably don't even know what a pager is anymore.
And
Right?
I do. Out of all people, I do.
Well, I hope
I
everyone
had-
out here does.
I had a two-way pager for work in the early '90s. I thought that thing was the
High
dopest
tech.
stuff, dude.
There's people that are like 40,
get
50
text
years old
back
that
from
don't
it.
even know what they are, and I do.
Actually, I was
Um,
watching Back to the Future too with my 12-year-old this evening, and they're like, "We're going all the way to 2015," and they had like flying machines and like flying cars, and it's just kind of funny to think like what people thought were the future and what it was going to be like when it all come together. And
Hey.
it was funny, like just to think 2015 was supposed to be this flying cars and stuff like that, and we're nowhere near anything like that. I'm still waiting for those levitation skateboards because I would be so about it. I would break myself on those things and sure.
Hey,
I'd
Eric,
definitely give it a shot.
Hey, I'm gonna say 7-3 to YouTube. So those of you watching, thank you for joining in tonight. We will be back next week. Encourage you all to participate, and we appreciate it. So 7-3.
Hey,
Oh,
Eric,
what's